Today we are going to be solving a problem that involves proportional reasoning. And to solve this problem, we're going to use algebraic reasoning. The question we are looking at says that two stores are advertising specials on oranges. Store A charges $4.24 for 8 oranges, and Store B charges $5.52 for 12 oranges. But oranges are sold individually. The question asks us, how much less would 30 oranges cost at Store B than Store A? So we need to figure out how much cheaper it is for the oranges at Store B. And we're going to justify our answer. Well, let's look at this question. We know the cost for 8 oranges at Store A, and we know the cost for 12 oranges at Store B, but do we know the cost for 30 oranges? Can we figure that out? Why would it be easier to compare the two costs at each store if we're using the same unit of 30 oranges? Is it easy to see right now which store is cheaper? Well, let's figure this out. Today we're going to use algebra to solve this problem. So we're going to come up with an equation that helps us answer the question. So first we need to figure out what is the relationship here. We are looking at oranges and cost. We can conclude that there is a relationship between the total cost and the number of oranges purchased. What do you think happens as you purchase more oranges? So let's choose variables to define these numbers. For number of oranges, let's use the variable n. Let n represent number of oranges. And for the total cost, let's use the variable t. The total cost is $4.24 for 8 oranges. Do we know how much it costs for each orange? We don't know the cost per orange. So let's choose a variable that represents the cost per oranges. How about we use the letter C? Let C represent the cost per oranges. Well, how do you think we would calculate the cost per orange? To figure out what the total cost is equal to, we would have to take the cost per orange and multiply it by the number of oranges. Let's think about this for a minute. If I told you that the oranges cost $1 each, and I said to you, how much would it cost for 10 oranges? Well, how would you find the total cost? You would take $1 and multiply it by 10. Therefore, the total cost would be $10. So we're going to do the same thing with this question. To find the total cost, we need to know what is the cost for 1 orange. That way we can find out how much it costs for 30 oranges. Now we can use our algebraic equation to solve for the unknown. Well, do we know the total cost of the oranges? We do. It's $4.24. So let's replace t with the value of t. 4.24. Do we know the cost per orange? No, that's what we need to find out. So we're going to leave that variable as the unknown c. Do we know the number of oranges? We do. 8 oranges cost $4.24. So let's replace n with the number 8. Now we have an equation with one unknown variable. Our equation says that 4.24 is equal to c multiplied by 8, or I can write this as 8c. Can you solve for the unknown variable in this question? On the right side of our equation, we have our unknown variable. And the right side of the equation says 8 multiplied by something gives us 4.24. Well, what's the opposite of multiplication? Right, division. So if I divide the right side by 8, what am I going to do to the left side? I'm going to divide the left side by 8 as well. Now, if I simplify the right side of the equation, this reduces to 1, and 1 times c can just be written as c. So let's simplify the left side of the equation. 4.24 divided by 8 equals 0.53. And what did c represent in our question? C represented the cost per orange. We've now found that the cost per orange is 53 cents per orange from Store A. Let's do the same thing for Store B. Total cost is $5.52. Do we know the cost per orange for store B? No, we don't. So we're going to leave that as the unknown variable C. Well, how many oranges do we get for $5.52? Right, 12 oranges. Let's rewrite this. 5.52 is equal to 12 multiplied by C. We're going to do the same thing to solve for C. I'm going to divide the right side by 12 to reduce this to 1, which means that we have to divide the left side by 12. Whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other in order to keep the equation balanced. So on the right side, we're left with just the variable C, and 5.52 divided by 12 gives us 0.46. That means that it costs 46 cents per orange if we shop at store B. Well, what was this question originally asking us to find? We wanted to find the total cost if we were to get 30 oranges. So let's rewrite our equation with the information that we just found. Store A costs 53 cents per orange. So to find out the total cost of all the oranges, I need to take 53 cents and multiply it by the number of oranges I'm purchasing. This is a direct relationship. For every orange I purchase, I'm going to pay 53 cents for each orange. Let's write an equation for store B. The total cost is equal to 46 cents for every orange. Does this also represent a direct relationship? How do you know? We need to find the total cost if we purchase 30 oranges, since the question was asking us to find out which store costs less if we find 30 oranges. So what am I going to do with the number 30? That's right, we're going to replace the n with 30, since n represents the number of oranges. So total cost is equal to 0.53 multiplied by 30, since I'm buying 30 oranges. What is the total cost for 30 oranges? Total cost equals 15.90. So from store A, 30 oranges cost $15.90. What about for store B? Again, we don't know the total cost, that's what we need to find, but we are finding this out if we purchase 30 oranges. So once again, I'm going to replace n with the value of n, in this case, which is 30. Total cost is equal to 0.46 or 46 cents for every orange. So if I'm buying 30 oranges, I need to multiply by 30. When we multiply these together, we get a total of $13.80. So we've just found that the total cost of oranges at store B is $13.80 for 30 oranges. This is much easier to compare now that we're using the same number of oranges. Which store ends up being cheaper? Correct, store B is cheaper. Well, the question said, by how much is it cheaper? So let's figure that out. How can we figure out the difference between these two values? Well, to find the difference, we need to subtract. 15.90 subtract 13.80. When we calculate this, we get a difference of $2.10. So how much are we saving by shopping at store B? That's right, $2.10. Therefore, 30 oranges would cost $2.10 less at store B. Now I want you to think about how you can use the equations to find the cost of any number of oranges. Also, think about how else you could have solved this problem without using algebra. Check out our playlist to find different ways of solving the same problem.